your shit show today to take you through the shit show. I'm sure it's going to be a shit show. It's definitely going to be a shit show.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now, if you've been following me for a little while now, you'll realise that there are four main things that I find wrong with family channels and influencers. Firstly, any influencer who exploits their own children for money, profit, clicks, etc. is just a bad person. Secondly, anybody who exploits their kids' disabilities is a bad person. Thirdly, anybody who is an adopted child who is exploited, that's also a no-go. And fourthly, if you are willing to exploit your child's, I don't know, like the gender identity or something like that, that would also make you in the category of a bad person. Now, I've come across what I feel is one of the worst that I've come across yet on YouTube. So with that being said, let's get right into it. These are called the McLeod family. You may have heard of them. They have 500,000 subs and they have hit the nail on the head on this one. Let's find out why.
Morning and welcome to the McLeod fam vlog. It is going to be a pure shit show today.
This person is called Eka. I kid you not. Eka. E-E-K-A. Eka. And she loves to say the word shit show a lot regarding her own family. So I think
pure shit show today to take you through the shit show. I'm sure it's going to be a shit show. It's definitely going to be a shit show.
That kind of, I don't really know what to say about that, because I'm not sure if she knows that that kind of has bad connotations when you like, I call the things I watch on YouTube shit shows. Like I would call their family a shit show, or I would call the Inghams a shit show. But calling it just anyway, I digress.
Okay, we just arrived. This is so cool. I'm really excited. Evan is convinced that somehow I have some sort of connection to that kid, Ryan, from Ryan's World. And he's like, oh, Ryan's World. Ryan went to the Legoland. He went to the Legoland Hotel. And I'm like, how do you know all this? So, I don't know. We're going to see if we can do... Oh my God, the dragon. Look at the dragon. Guess it's a smoking designated area. Anyways, we're gonna see if we can check in early. We don't know if we can.
So yeah, as you may have guessed, she has some kids. That's why they've gone to Legoland. And she has 3 children. And she exploits them all for money. You know, with 500,000 subs, each video getting so many thousand views, it's bound to raise a few quid, right? So tick box number 1, exploitation of children complete, right? Good morning, everyone. Of course, my phlegm starts acting up right then. I have the worst allergies in the world. I am trying to kind of organize the bed a little. It is Monday, and I am having to take Eli to a pretty urgent ortho appointment. It's the orthopedist, I think that's what it's short for. Sorry, I'm doing too much at once. In all likelihood, his hips are dislocated again. And that is pretty standard for a child with cerebral palsy, especially as severe as Eli has it. Yep. Her eldest has a severe disability, as you heard her mention. But that's not all, is it, Eka? Is it? Eka! It's not all, is it? Good morning and welcome to the McLeod fam vlog. I thought it would be fun today to take you through the shit show that is our morning getting ready, me as a single mom, basically prepping 3 disabled kiddos. That's right, 3 disabled children. So apart from the one severely disabled that she mentioned earlier, the other 2 also have disabilities. I believe 2 of them have autism, and one of them also has another disability on top of autism. But anyway, I digress. Move on. Please tell me more.
To get them all to 3 different schools. It is wild and chaotic and exhausting and overwhelming, and I'm going to take you along with me and hopefully give you a really good idea of what that looks like. So,
because as a once famous personality once said, if it weren't vlogged, it didn't happen. So you need to vlog it so that we all know that it actually did happen, and you do have to get up every morning, get 3 disabled children ready, and go to school.
He's gonna get their teeth brushed. Brushing Eli's teeth is insanely hard. It's actually easiest to do when he's laying down. So that's what I've had to get good at, is brushing his teeth laying down. Ella, can you pick up that trash that's on the dresser, please? Yeah. Thank you.
So there's absolutely nothing like stripping your child of their last remaining piece of dignity whilst you film them for YouTube. Do you know that this is like one of the worst forms of exploitation? Because not only are they a child, but they are a disabled child, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. When you're a child, you can't consent. You can't give informed consent to be on YouTube, right? When you're a disabled child, you have basically no chance of giving informed consent. Do you see the seriousness of that at all? So box number 2 ticked off. That is exploitation of a disabled child. Catching.
If you follow us on Instagram and you follow us on TikTok, you are fully aware that Evan came out as a girl. Evan has stated that she identifies as a girl, would like to use she, her pronouns, be called sister, and be called daughter. It was just a natural progression. It really started when I called her brother. She was just like, I'm sister. And I mean, so firm. I was like, okay, sorry. So that's been new.
So this is her middle child she's talking about, and this is another issue that I mentioned earlier, that people who exploit their child's gender identity as they are trying to find themselves, and they share it to the world because the world needs to know, obviously, you know, it's not your journey to share. And I've been through this many times with the Saucony Jolies who do the same thing. But it is not your choice. It's not your decision. It's not your journey to share. It is your child's. And he, she, or they cannot consent to doing this.
I just let everybody know that I'm asexual. So when you see the LGBTQIA, that is what that A stands for. A lot of people mistakenly believe that the A actually stands for ally, which it does not. Although, you know, I love a good ally, so don't let that deter you. The A actually stands for asexual. So when I say to somebody that I'm ace or asexual, they're like, what? What does that even mean? And I get it. I realize it's a term that isn't used as often as gay or lesbian or bisexual or pansexual. And these terms, I think, we're starting to use more in more mainstream media. You know, you're seeing it on TV. A lot more people are talking about it.
Indeed. So let's talk about it. She happens to be asexual, and why doesn't it surprise me? We'll come back to a big problem that I have here shortly, but it just kind of fits in a little bit, the fact that they have a non-binary child who is far too young, in my opinion. I mean, people can be who they want to be, kids can be who they want to be, but it's just, don't put it on YouTube for people to judge. You know, I mean, it's not fair that I'm judging. Just don't do it. So, Box number 3, perfectly ticked. Exploitation of gender identity. Ka-ching.
But I promised y'all I was going to talk about the kids' original names, the names that they were given when they were born. So I say we start with Eli. We'll go from oldest to youngest.
So I've made the difficult decision to not reveal the kids' birth names for their own privacy. Although, it's on their channel if you want to go and watch it, I can't stop you. Anyway, the point is that all 3, not 1, not 2, but 3, all 3 of them are adopted children into the family. Adopted, that's right. And what should you not do with adopted children? Any guesses? Anybody in the back want to take a guess? Comment down below before I tell you. What should you not do with adopted children? You should not plaster them all over YouTube. And you should definitely not be exploiting them for money. Why did you adopt these children in the first place? Was it to give them a loving home? Perhaps. Was it, in fact, to make money out of? I bloody hope not. But that's exactly what's happening right now. It's making money out of their adopted children. That is a definite no-no in the world of everybody. Seriously. Unbelievable. And it's the perfect way to end the whole box ticking exercise, because box number 4, exploitation of your adopted children. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And it's not just that, it doesn't end there. That's the problem, right? Because not only are you exploiting your adopted children who weren't born to you, right? And that's not a slight against you. That's just the fact that they weren't born by you. You didn't bring them into the world. And yet you are taking them from somebody who's given you them in good faith and then putting them all over YouTube for profit. That's what you're doing, and it's not right, and I think most people can agree with me here. But it's not just that. It's the fact that they are all adopted, they are all disabled, they all have a disability of some description. One of them is not yours, but is now gender fluid, and that is after you are also that. And so basically every single box that you could possibly tick. First of all, you shouldn't put them on YouTube at all because they're kids. Secondly, you shouldn't put them on YouTube with disabilities when they're kids. And thirdly, you shouldn't put them on YouTube when they're adopted children. And fourthly, you shouldn't put them on YouTube when they are going through their gender identity journey as kids. All those things, put them all together, and it basically paints a picture of, you got these kids, right? You were given these children to give them a loving, safe, loving home, right? You then take the children who also have disabilities. Therefore, you need to give them a lot more care and attention than the standard child. You then take those children and you plaster them all over YouTube, when in fact they weren't yours to do that with in the first place. Now, for those of you who are undoubtedly going to say, look, but Dougal, you've got it all wrong. You've got it all mixed up. You need to know the full story. You need to know the full facts. They don't exploit their kids for money. They do it for awareness. Well, just how do you explain this then?
All right, we got event check-in heading over there now. Gonna see what we do. Hi, good, thank you. All right, Reagan and her mom.
Look at that. They met the girl who played the voice of the doll in Squid Games. Squid Game. Unbelievable. Legendary. I seriously hope your kids haven't watched Squid Game though. So, do they even know who that is? Please say no.
Lee and I are here again, and we are headed in. We are so excited.
So this is an exclusive event at Legoland. They were invited there because of why? Why do you think that was? Why do you think they managed to get an exclusive invitation to Legoland to hang out with all the rest of the influencer kids? It's because they have kids who are on YouTube, possibly disabled kids who are on YouTube, and possibly disabled kids who are adopted on YouTube, who are gender fluid on YouTube, adopted kids on YouTube, etc. You get the picture, okay? If none of that happened and you didn't plaster them all over YouTube, you wouldn't get special event invitations, would you? That's the perks of being exploitative, I guess. So, that being said, what's the other thing that I wanted to mention here? And I know this is going to come across wrong, but I need to say it because it's on my mind and I feel like you have been given an extra special privilege, right? Now, I don't know what it's like in the US for adoption, okay? It seems to be fairly easy to get a hold of a child and put them on YouTube. Doesn't matter to the authorities at all. There's quite a few people on YouTube that do that. Seems weird to me, but worse still in this case is you're a single mother. Single mothers aren't necessarily a bad thing, I'm not saying that, but you're given the privilege of adopting 3 lovely children. Something that a lot of people would dream of, but I'm not quite sure how you managed to pass all the safeguarding checks. I'm sorry, but because surely you need to have some sort of income, some monetary situation going on. Unless she's rich behind the scenes, I don't know. Does anybody know how it works in the US? Because from what I'm seeing is she's a single mother. She has no job because her job is to look after 3 disabled children, and she's putting them on YouTube to earn the money in order to pay for these kids, which she was given. I'm not saying that single mothers are a bad thing. I'm saying that I'm not too sure, especially in this country, if you were a single parent who had no means of financial support and you had only intended to, say, support those children via YouTube, I'm not entirely convinced the authorities would be overly keen to allow you to adopt. So please let me know if you do know the situation a little bit better than me. Let me know. Thank you all so much. I hope we've all learned something here, and that is that you shouldn't exploit your children, you shouldn't exploit your disabled children, and you shouldn't exploit your adopted disabled children. Until next time, please give this video a massive thumbs up if you'd like me to do more. Comment everything you want to comment down below. Have you heard of this family before? Do you want to see more of this type of content? And subscribe if you're new, because I can do as many of these as you want and as often as you want. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Have a lovely day. It's a beautiful day outside. Get yourself outside. And bye-bye.